Hey, hi everyone. My name is Grainne Fletcher, and the lovely Mel asked me to come on to Faith and Discipleship to really share my story and to share my testimony of how the Lord helped me so much and really transformed my life. So, as you can maybe tell by my accent, I am very Irish. I was born in Limerick and I went to university over in England, but I left home when I was nearly 18. I went to a little island called Jersey. A lot of you may not know it. It is, look it up. I now know it to be quite a demonic island, but at the time, I didn't really know that. But some weird things happened when I was on that island. Don't like it. And I moved over to Australia when I was 22. So I've been over here for over 30 years. And the last 15 years, I have been with the Lord. So growing up in Ireland, I was definitely the black sheep. I was a bit of an old rascal. My family would laugh. We would be on the plane and we would be always standby because my dad was worked in the airlines, and they would send me off to sit up the top of the plane on my own because the other kids were too scared to. And by the end of the call or the end of the trip on the plane, I would be stood there. I would be about 8 years of age, just saying to the person, "Oh, good luck, and I hope your operation goes really well," and da 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 da. And my family, my dad was so quiet, and he would just look at me, just going like, "I can't believe you just know everything about them people." And I'm like, I just love people. I've always loved people. People might think that I'm curious, I'm nosy. I'm just really interested in people. So that was how I kind of went in life. I had quite an exciting time when I came over to Australia. I was on a toll ship and I spent a year. I lived on board the Bounty in Sydney Harbour. And then I met my partner who I was with for 7 years, and we sailed all around the world on another toll ship, which was a lot of fun, a lot of drinking, drugs. I was all into that kind of scene. And then I came back and lived in Sydney, and then broke up with that guy at the age of 30, 31. And I met my husband now straight after. And yeah, we had a lot, we had a wild time. We were definitely into drugs, lots of drinking, lots of partying, lots of raves, lots of everything. And I was basically addicted to marijuana. And I had been since about the age of 18, but I never really knew why. And, or I had blocked it out. So I had my first son. We moved then up to the Sunshine Coast, and I had my daughter. And it was around that time I just felt like there was nothing. I met a girlfriend, and I'm a lapsed Catholic, and I met a girl who was also having a baby at the same time as me. And I just started asking her, why are you so happy? And she was talking about church, and she was really funky and wore really nice clothes. And I was like, what are you doing going to church? I thought church was just full of people wearing white blouses and A-line skirts and things like that. And you're a bit too gorgeous looking to be in church. And she was just like, no, I love the Lord. And we go to church and it's fun. My son goes into kids' church and he has a ball. And I'm thinking, I didn't know that, like, to me, Catholic Church, just wasn't my thing. So anyway, I went with her because I just was trying to fill this hole inside my heart with everything: drugs, drink, whatever, you name it. I was trying to fill it up. And she just said, no, just come along and see what it's all about. And I did. And I just was like, oh my gosh, I went in, there was bands and, all these music, and I was like, wow, church has changed. And it was really, really good. And I went back another couple of times. And then I just feel God, she gave me a Bible, And it was really funny that she gave me this Bible. And then this one night was really weird. My husband came and lay down near me. I fell asleep on the couch, and he gave me this kiss by my neck. And I was literally transported back to when I was 18 in Jersey, and I was really drunk. And we had nowhere to stay. And I was staying, this guy said, come back to my mum's guest house. You can sleep on the couch. And when I was in there, he came in and he tried to rape me. And he bit my neck so bad that it was black and blue all the way around, right up to here. And he tried to prise my legs open. But I don't know, I was so drunk, but it was definitely God now, that they became like steel. He could not, and he was screaming obscenities at me. And people were like, why didn't you scream? You're in a guest house. I lost my vocal cords. I was so scared. I just lost all voices. And I had blocked this all out of my head with marijuana. And when my husband kissed me on the neck, I literally just jumped and I tried to punch him. And he was like, what's after happening? And I just couldn't talk about it. And then a few days later, I came into the house and there was no electricity. And we had nothing. And I just felt that the Lord was saying, I want you to tell him everything. So we sat, and at the time I used to drink, and I had a glass of wine, and we just started sharing. Sat there with a candle, and then I just started telling him everything that happened to me in Jersey, and he was in tears. And he was like, I had no idea this had happened to you. And I said, I know, I'd blocked it out. And then I went to the loo, and I felt the Lord saying, I want you to tell him that you have a Bible. So anyway, I was chatting away again, and next minute I just said, there's a Bible in the house. And the minute I said that, all the lights, you know, when you have everything turned off, suddenly the radio, the TV, the kettle, everything's going, everything went. And I went and asked neighbors, you know, did you have an electricity strike last night? No, just me. And I know that was the Lord. So it was kind of a build up and a build up. And then I was kind of like having a little deal with God, just going, look, Lord, if I just maybe only have marijuana Monday to Friday, I won't have it. And then I'll just have it at the weekend. And I kind of did this weaning off. And then in January, it was January about the 11th. My daughter was 13 months old. As I say, she's okay. Um, Somebody passed me a joint, and I just went, actually, I think I'm okay. I don't think I need it. And then 2 days later, we went to church for the first time, a different church, and my husband came with me. And we went, and it was good, and it was fun, and you know, we were all kind of cheering, and the music was nice. And this pastor got up, and I really liked him, and he started eating a head of lettuce and started saying, you know, let us um, hit, let us have no sin, let us have Jesus in our lives, let us, you know. And it was just each time that you have lettuce, you know, think of Jesus. So we were kind of like a bit weird but fun, and I still remember it. So, you know, that's 16 years later. So anyway, we went up and we showed him Ruby, and we just said, oh, hey, this is our baby, this is my son, and we'll be back, and la, la, la. And we came out, and at 12 o'clock, I rang my girlfriend, Larissa, that had been walking this journey with me. And I said, hey, Larry, I've been thinking about it. You said all I need to do is ask Jesus to forgive me of my sins. And I just want to thank him and ask him into my life. And I give him my life. And she just went, you didn't even need to say it to me. You could have just said it to Jesus. And but she said, I'm honored you asked me, you said it to me. So that was at 12 o'clock. And at 12:30, my son and his friend had been running in and out of the house, and we'd left the gate pool open because they can swim, they're really good. Ruby was in her cot, she was asleep. So she got up, and we had the kitchen um, door shut, but there's a little doggy flap in it. And I thought she was on my side, and my husband thought she was on his side of the kitchen bench. And next minute, my son went back out into the pool, and him and his friend, and they just went, oh, there's a rag doll in the pool. And then one of them said, that's not a rag doll, that's Ruby. And I had this lunch in my hand. I was cooking something, and it just, everything smashed out of my hand. I wasn't going to do this. And my husband just ran into the pool and he just said, please don't die, Ruby. There was no pulse, there was no heartbeat. And I just went out the front, I called an ambulance and I was freaking out like any mum would. I was literally just running around the garden, just screaming. And they just said, go out the front, you need to be out the front. So I went out the front and I lay on the ground. I'd never even thought that I was doing this cross shape, and I just went, Jesus, please give me back my baby. Please give me back my baby. You have me for life. Just please give me back my baby. But I want to tell you something so incredible. This lady was running between me and my husband saying there's no pulse, there's no heartbeat yet, there's nothing, she's not breathing. And then just as the ambulance was turning up, she just came in and she said to me, your husband's found a pulse. He's got a pulse for her. And the ambulance turned up and they just said she's unconscious. We don't know if she'll have brain damage, but she's ended up being perfect. But what I want to tell you about how amazing our God is 3 days before that, a real estate came into my house and I had Ruby in my arms and he saw a vision of Ruby in the pool dead. And he grabbed me and went, how did that dog get in the pool? And I just said, I don't know. I said, there's a little gap down the end. And he went, can a baby get through that gap? And I went, no. I thought, weirdo. Like he was grabbing me. I didn't even know who he is. But he had seen this vision, but he never said anything. He just went and started praying for Ruby. And then my husband on the Friday, so 2 days before all this happened, was in work setting the alarm system and got prompted, felt prompted to look at the CPR chart that was underneath, that had been there for years, but he felt prompted to read the CPR chart. So that's how amazing our God is. He literally gave my husband, and as Fletch was doing all the CPR, which he never thought he'd have to do on his little baby, while he was doing all that, he said he felt somebody next to him. He felt this presence next to him, helping him. And I just want to encourage you, you know, the last 15 years have been the most incredible. Some journeys, some parts of it have been awful, but they have been the most incredible years of my life. And for too long, I have worried about what people think of me. I have worried about pleasing other people and being scared of rejection, being scared that people aren't going to want to be around me, or that people, you know, saying the wrong thing or standing up for things I believe. I just kind of like don't say it, but then I get really angry and then I do say it because I just hear this stuff and then and and then getting so excited by seeing what God is doing in my life and kind of going, oh my gosh, this is God and he's so amazing. And now I just have this real peace and maturity, and I just chuckle going, God, you're so funny. You've got such a wicked sense of humor. I just look at him, what he's doing and what he's doing in people's lives. And he's showing me more and more the gifts that I never knew that I had. And now I'm just sitting back rather than being scared about the gifts or scared about things. I'm just wanting to share Jesus with everyone. And even today, I've decided, I said to the Lord, what do you want me to do? All I want to do is reach the lost. And I'm now going to put on an Alpha course starting next week. And I just feel God just is so obedient. When you ask him for something and then you leave it with him, something happens. So I just want to encourage anyone that's listening on here. You know, if you don't know Jesus, I really encourage you to get to know him. Doesn't mean you have to say, oh, Jesus, but just open your heart a little bit. That's all I did. Somebody said to me, he'll never bang on that door. He'll never smash it open, kick it in. But what he will do is if you open it just a tiny, tiny bit in your heart, he will come in because he's a gentleman and he'll only come in where he's invited. So if you've never got to know Jesus, just invite him in and just say, Jesus, I want to get to know you. I want to hear you. I want to know what, if you can help me in my life, and he will. In any situation you're in, Just say, Jesus, I invite you into this situation. Holy Spirit, I invite you into this call. I invite you to give me the words of wisdom, and He will. So I've seen amazing things happening in my lifetime. I've seen so much stuff. Even today, I was able to testify to this guy that a car that was going to be gifted to somebody ended up going to 6 different people, and it kept coming back. And we were like, Lord. And it's like, wow, if it wasn't meant for them, it'll come back. And it kept coming back. And someone would go, oh, it's okay. I've been given even a better one. And to be able to say this to a guy today that has lost everything, and to be able to say to him, this car is a gift from God just for you. It's gone to nearly 6 people. We couldn't give this car away. This car that somebody really just wanted to gift to somebody who really needed it. And then I was able to pray with this guy today and be able to share my testimony. So I encourage you, share your testimony. Share it with everybody what God has done, because we need to give Him the glory. And my most favorite passage in the Bible is Ephesians 3:20. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that it is at work in us, to Him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen. So make sure and give Him the glory in everything you do, and He will give you more than you could ever imagine. Have an awesome day, everyone. See ya.